Hello again. I thought of doing a new video on something as a new information continues to grow in field of medicine. I'm sure we have talked and people are all aware of artificial intelligence or AI and now ChatGPT and etc., where the computer is learning and talking about various stuff, and you can get reports. They have passed bar exams and they have passed medical entrance exam and this and that, and all these things are coming out. But in the diagnostic field of medicine, the AI has been also used, and also people have tried to find out various stuff. So I think that is going to be a coming field in near future, maybe as early as a couple of years or less. So I just wanted to talk to you today about something called functional MRI. The functional MRI is a little different than the MRI. The MRI is magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, is where a magnet is used and then literally pictures are printed like the CAT scan. Though the CAT scan has radiation, MRI does not have radiation. And it looks at the structure of various organs. So if you do an MRI of the brain, it does the pictures of the brain. So if there is a tumor, it can diagnose it. If there is a fluid, it can diagnose it. But it's still pictures. It doesn't tell if somebody is thinking or breathing or whatever. So basically the MRI is similar to CAT scan in that way. If you do a CAT scan of somebody who has died, the MRI will not show much other than the MRI will show ischemic changes. That means the blood is not going there as well in certain parts of the brain. The functional MRI, on the other hand, is showing the function. So if you remember when I was talking about PET scan, PET scan, PET scan is used where the glucose consumption or pickup by cells is detected in various organs. It's called skull to mid-thigh. So from head to mid-thigh, pictures are taken, and wherever the glucose is picked up more than its organ, that it could be either an inflammation, infection, or a tumor. So the PET scan is dependent upon glucose uptake. So the glucose uptake is more when cells are metabolically active more than their surrounding cells in the organ. For example, if there is a tumor in the lung, the cells in the tumor are metabolically more active than the lung cells, and subsequently the pickup of glucose is much higher, and it is measured as an SUV. So same thing will happen if it is in the liver. The use of MRI compared to CAT scan is that it detects tumors a little bit more easily. So a CAT scan of the liver may show cyst or a mass. MRI will show more diagnostic probability of it being tumor or not. Sometimes the CAT scan of the brain may not show small nodules or small tumors. MRI will be more diagnostically effective or accurate in picking up spread of a cancer to the brain. The functional MRI can be compared or could be said it's like your PET scan. So if I'm shown something and functional MRI is done, I will see the difference in the images because it depends on the blood and the hemoglobin going in that particular area. So if I'm thinking something, only certain cells come into the activity. And for those cells to be active, they need more glucose. Again, glucose is needed by every cell in the body for their metabolic function. So as much as the glucose is picked up, glucose is provided through the blood. And the blood flow increases to certain areas of the brain which are active in processing the information that you are getting. So you could do a functional MRI and would see certain areas of the brain light up, so-called lighting up, or increase blood circulation. Usually it takes a time between actually the processing starting and a functional MRI picking up the increased circulation in that area. It's also called hemodynamics. So hemodynamics, or the increased blood flow to the certain parts of the brain, happens depending upon which part of the brain is stimulated, because if you're testing, it's different. If you're speaking, it's different. If you're memorizing something, it's different. If you're seeing something, it'll be a different areas of the brain. So the areas, when we are trying to find out which areas are affected by, say, a patient in stroke or in patients who have a tumor, and how much to do it, the functional MRI becomes very valuable, because then you know that certain areas process language. There's an area called Broca's area where the language is processed, and if that area is affected, the speech is gone or different. So if you are planning a surgery on somebody's brain and you do the functional MRI, you can find out if certain parts of the brain are involved in processing the information. And then that particular part would be lighted up with a functional MRI. The regular MRI just shows the structure or anatomy. The functional MRI shows physiology, the function. So one is anatomical, regular MRI or a CAT scan. fMRI or functional MRI is physiology, which part of the brain is processing the information that you're doing. So taking a step further, people are trying to figure out if I'm reading something, or I'm asked to read something, or I'm asked to think about something, can the analysis of trained observer produce that exact thing that I was seeing, or I was reading in my mind, or I was recollecting in my memory? Very short study done recently, published recently in this month, that is May 2023, magazine Nature, suggested that there was an accuracy of 50% plus when they tried to analyze the fMRI and try to reproduce what the volunteers were seeing. Again, these kind of studies are extremely small group of people and done in such a way that there is a significant involvement of the volunteers as well as the observer. So it is not like if I'm thinking about something, it will be printed in a printout form, exactly word by word as what I'm thinking. But it certainly can be processed. This has some implication. I mean, in the future, if this technology is perfected, so-called perfected. Right now, the MRI machine is huge. It is a lot of noise which interferes with certain things. But if we can avoid that, then mind reading through the machines could be done. I don't know how many years it will take to do that, but it certainly is possible based on this. Again, the study that I quoted was in a very small number of people, and the accuracy was not 100%. So we still don't know where it is. It's definitely in infancy. But since we have been talking about AI for the last few years, and we're talking about now the practical part of the artificial intelligence, where it is producing even your own voice and can deceive or can be used for cheating people, saying that you're in trouble and get money. If functional MRI is useful for surgical intervention of tumors to the brain and that kind of stuff, it also can be used to identify and realize what somebody's thinking, and that could be detrimental to the privacy part of it. So as much as functional MRI reports have been stating that it is useful for treating certain diseases of the brain, used wrongly, it can cause problems, and hope that it will not be in the hands of thieves, where people can read mind and understand, and then it's badly used. This is in an infancy. Hope you like this. If you like it, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll talk about this more in future videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.